Good evening. So today we are going to continue with the Bhagavad Gita. This is chapter 17 and we are going to do from verse 7 onwards. Now yesterday we had ended at a point where I had also done verse 7 for understanding that what are those things which are Satvik, Rajasic and Tamasic. Now there are always the three kinds of things, that is Satvik on one side, Rajasic on the other side, and then Tamasic. So at that time, there were a number of things which were mentioned. One of them was food. Then it is sacrifice, penance, and charity. So these are four things we are going to discuss today. Now, how much we are able to cover, let us see. So we will start with food. What is the kind of food that a person is supposed to eat? We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita Chapter 17 verse 7. Food also, which is agreeable to different men according to their innate disposition, is of three kinds. And likewise sacrifice, penance and charity too are of three kinds each. Here their distinction as follows. So Shri Krishna is going to give us an understanding of the type of food, the type of sacrifice, the penance and the charity which people of different disposition do. Somebody who is Satvik in nature, somebody who is Rajasic in nature, and somebody who is Tamasic in nature. Now here, if you recollect, when we had done the Bhagavad Gita earlier in some of the preceding chapters, it was mentioned that every individual has a mixture of all. So there is a one predominant one and the other two are passive. So if somebody has got an active sattva, then the rajas and tamas is passive. Somebody who has a very active rajas has a sattva and tamas passive, and likewise those who have a very active tamas, the other two are passive. So there is a predominance of one particular guna. So it could be Satvik, Rajasic or Tamasic. Satvik is all about goodness. Rajasic is all about activity, making money, those kind of stuff. And Tamasic is all about laziness, inertia, those kind of things. Alright? So let us see what Krishna has to say on these three gunas concerning food, sacrifice, penance and charity. So we will see what the first verse says. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita Chapter 17 verse 8. Food which promotes longevity, intelligence, vigor, health, happiness, cheerfulness, and which are juicy, succulent, substantial, naturally agreeable, are liked by men of Satvik nature. Now, remember this one line very carefully. According to their innate nature. Everybody has an inborn nature. Alright? And because everyone has an inborn nature, that is why the food and the way in which they behave is exactly dependent on their nature. We had said that there are two kinds of nature. One is divine nature and the second one is demonic nature. This is what we had done so far. So, in the divine nature, there will be more of sattva. In the demonic nature, there will be more of tamas and certain amount of rajas. So, both these things are two ends of the spectrum. And everybody has innate nature, which means it comes from within. They have taken up a body, somebody Now everybody has a body, right? So whoever has taken up a body, they have an innate nature. Let us say, for example, if there is a lion or a tiger, what is the innate nature of a lion or a tiger? The food that he eats, he will hunt down other animals and eat them, isn't it? Now, the innate nature of a deer or a cow is to eat grass, right? The innate nature of rodents is to eat all the scraps and smaller creatures in them. The innate nature of birds, the birds of prey, they will search for the small, tiny creatures, animals, and they will eat them. Again, dependent on a lot of their innate nature. Fishes, big fish, will eat the small ones. The small one will eat the smaller ones. And so on and so forth till you finally come to the smallest of them all. When you come to the smallest of them all, they eat the planktons and all those kind of things. The tiny, tiny things that are floating around. I'm sure you have seen. So they eat those. Everywhere it is the same thing. In every kingdom, whether it is the fishes, the birds, the animals, or whatever. So in the same way, human beings have their innate nature. Where does this nature come from? It comes from the body that they have acquired. The body which comes with them, that body has an innate nature. So if there is a person who is born in a so-called Brahmin family, he is used to eating vegetarian food, will refuse to eat the non-vegetarian food. It's an understood thing. There are some people who come from a non-vegetarian family. What will they eat? Non-vegetarian food. They are used to it because of their innate nature. That doesn't mean that those people are evil by nature. This is one thing which we need to understand. The animals which eat smaller animals, it's a nature's law. Got it? There are people in this world who will definitely say, no, vegetarianism is the best or vegan is the best. They are free to say whatever they feel like. That's all right. Krishna is not putting any restrictions on anybody. Not at all. Because the gods themselves are going to ask for sacrifices which are something like that also. So does it mean that the gods are bad? No, it doesn't mean anything like that. It is the innate nature. Please remember this. It has nothing to do with evil tendencies and bad blood and all those kind. That is utter nonsense. This is the Bhagavad Gita we are doing. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is very clearly saying what is the innate nature. Alright? Now, we have in Hinduism, we have Sanatan Dharma. We have people who are vegetarian and then they are non-vegetarian. Now, in this religion, it is like that. But in Christianity, Islam, and various other religions of this world, for them eating non-vegetarian is so common. It's like a normal thing. There is no restriction. They are used to a lot of other things as well. So does it mean that that is wrong? No, it is not wrong. It is their innate nature. Don't forget these words. Anything can come about depending on the nature of the person. Let us say you are born in a Christian family. They are used to eating non-vegetarian food from the beginning. So yes, they will. I come from a non-vegetarian family. In my house, there used to be 5 days or 6 days a week non-vegetarian. And everybody from my family would be eating all that. Now, funny part is, The children don't eat. They're vegetarians. That is because from the mother's side, they could be vegetarian and they could turn into vegetarian. So, doesn't make any sense. So, let us see this. So, remember, this is the punchline over here. Innate nature. People follow the path as per their innate nature. So, if they have to accept food, what food will they accept? So, those who are sattvic in nature, they will eat food which promotes longevity, intelligence, vigor, health, happiness, and cheerfulness. Now, when a person is interested in these characteristics, longevity. Now, you have heard that there are certain things in the Ayurveda which say, oh, you have this, you will have longevity. I'm sure you have heard about this. Certain things like ashwagandha or ginseng, those who know about the Chinese medicine, they will have the ginseng root. And in India, they may have the ashwagandha. In some other countries, they have some other. So, dependent on where you are, what you are looking at. So, there are foods which can keep you alive for a very, very long time. People in Konkan area, in Maharashtra and in Karnataka and Kerala and all that, if you go to the villages over there, people live for 100 years. It's amazing to see these old people. And if you ask them what is the food that you eat, they will say one very simple thing. We have fish curry and rice. It's amazing to know that they eat fish curry and rice. Look at the Bengalis' main food. Their main food is there, which is always mentioned. Like say for example, you go to a Bengali family. They will have that potato, fish, meat sometimes, bengun bhaja. Bengun, brinjal. Other people in India will say brinjal is not good. All the legumes which are there, they are not good. They come from within the earth. Krishna is not even making any of those. Sir, think about it. When he is talking about longevity, if that food is giving longevity to that person, that food is correct. Where has he said that you cannot eat this or that? There is no such mention any time. So let us see. Longevity. Now the next one. Intelligence. Modern science tells you that there are lots of chemicals which help a person's intelligence. Right? Now, sometimes they say protein, sometimes something else, omega-3 and omega-5, and God knows, I don't know much about them, but we have heard of those words, isn't it? Brain power, they say. Now, the funny part is, like I was yesterday, rather today, we were making a sabji, vegetable, with the red leaves. We call it mat. I don't know what do you call matki we call them. That vegetable was there. Then beetroot is there. And then there are certain red color fruits like say for example the pomegranate. People have that understanding that if you eat that, then your brain will work properly because you get a lot of, blood. Just because the color is red doesn't mean any of those things. Okay? It doesn't have any meaning like that. So, what is it that gives that color? It's because of certain coloring ingredients in that. So, it is not to be mixed around. Okay. And then you have Karela. It's bitter in taste. And people will say, you should have Karela juice. Jamun juice. I mean, just imagine somebody having that yucky kind of from my point of view, so I can't even taste Karela. I don't like it. It's bitter. But no, bitter food is very good. Who says so? Does it give intelligence to you? Krishna is very clear. Does it give longevity? Does it give intelligence? There is no way of knowing unless and until we have done a lot of research on food. I'll tell you a small snippet. You see, we used to get tomatoes. Tomatoes, tomato, tomato, tomatoes, whatever you call it. Now, in olden times, maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, the tomatoes used to come in such a manner that they would get squished very fast. Like that. And they would become stale very soon. You will find fungus growing on it within 2-3 days time, or maybe maximum 3-4 days time. There was fridge and all was very rare. But even if you keep in the fridge, it will have a very different kind of a color, and the whole thing would have changed. It used to be called the regular kind of tomatoes, right? Now it so happened that the world changed. They wanted productivity. Now when the farmers and the Indian government and everybody wants productivity, then what happens? So from a small field, they would have gathered a certain amount of tomatoes and sold them, and by the time they reach from here to another 100-200 kilometers, they would have got squished and become bad. So all these foreign companies started coming in. So I will tell you about one company, a university in this world, where they take the original tomato plant, which has got a big fruit, and then they take another plant which develops a small fruit. This big fruit is very big, but it gets spoiled very fast, and this small fruit is so tiny you cannot even imagine. And they do cross fertilization. They develop the first hybrid. So the hybrid will have a good rounded tomato, and so on and so forth. Now when you create a hybrid and you buy the seeds of hybrid, which these foreign companies sell in India, we can only grow them once. The second generation doesn't come because they are hybrid. So what happens? As a farmer, you have to go again to the market and buy the seeds. This is what Mr. Charles Darwin gave us. How to go and destroy this universe. It's a sarcastic statement, let me tell you this. So the productivity goes up when you plant these hybrids. What about taste? There is no taste in these new tomatoes. What about the nutritional value of it? So far, these companies had never done any nutritional value. They might have done, but we don't know. And when they found out, the nutritional value is half of the original. And we are consuming that. Why? Because a tomato remains like that on the shelves of the supermarkets and in your house for some time, 3-4 weeks. Just because it remains for such a long time, so you develop this kind of a thing. That is terrible, isn't it? So now I want you to think very carefully. Does it promote longevity? Does it promote intelligence? Intelligence, when it has all the ingredients properly, then definitely that tomato, the potato or any other vegetable will have value, because nutritional values have to be maintained. But if you are sacrificing the nutritional value, then what is the point of buying these hybrids and then spraying them with artificial stuff? So natural farming is important, and we have to preserve our old methods and the seeds from the past generations, so that we can replant those things over and over again. So there are lots of people in the world who have turned towards natural farming methods. Some of them are called permaculture and all that. So now think about it. What are you actually gaining in it? So these are the things which any food should have. First is longevity. It should increase your life, not decrease it. Think. Tobacco, does it increase or decrease? Decrease. Isn't it? If you go for anything which is going to reduce your life, then it is not good. Intelligence, does it increase your intelligence? No. Things which give stimulus to your brain, artificial stimulants, no. Natural stimulants which are available in the natural world, very good. It should give you vigor, the energy to move around. It should not make you sluggish. See, remember these words. Vigor, the one which increases your vigor. Oh, that means I can drink coffee. When did I say that? People will immediately say, oh, I get a kick out of coffee. I have at least 4-5 times coffee. Well, once, twice in a day, fine, but not all the time. Does it increase your health properly? Does it give you a good health? If it is not, then what is the point? Today's day and age, everything is called processed food. Now, in the processed food, what do you get? Do you get any of these things? No. I don't think so. Even the milk that is available outside, it is not good. I can tell you this much. If there is, there is something which they call the animals which roam about freely. I don't know what they are called, or the hens which roam around freely. Okay, they are not put in a coop, or they are not put in one place in confinement. They are free roaming kind of creatures. And when they give milk or eggs or whatever freely, not under, duress, they have to be injected by different kinds of, hormones and this and that. No, nothing like that. Natural methods. When you get that kind of a milk, that kind of an egg, it is very good. It is good for your health. But if you are going to keep on drinking those hormones all the time, I think there is something wrong in it. So you have to know where your milk supply comes from. It should be proper. And there are certain other things like these vegetables. How are the vegetables grown? Well, how do they get their nutrients? Are they full of nutrients? And all those things you should know. Then, it should increase, should give you good health. It should make you happy. See, this is an important word. Does the food that you eat makes you happy? Well, and there is a writer over here. If you are suffering from all kinds of diseases, let us say, for example, blood pressure, diabetes, that, so many things, then there are certain restrictions in your diet which you got to follow. I don't say Krishna said I have to eat only healthy food and all this is good enough and it gives me happiness if I eat fried food. No. The food which gives you real happiness and cheerfulness, that you eat. So the food which promotes longevity, intelligence, vigor, health, happiness and cheerfulness. And what kind of food that is? It is juicy. See, today we go to the market and we buy bottles of juice. That is a processed food. Please don't have it. If you can get natural stuff, naturally occurring stuff, like say for examples, you can get oranges and bananas and pineapple. You get the fresh ones, isn't it? Eat that. Eat fresh. Don't keep it, for many days and then eat it. Apples nowadays which come to India, they are processed after for a very long time. Like the mangoes which I was talking about yesterday. They are processed. They are kept in that processing factory for over few days and then it comes to you. It is not good. Mangoes which are fresh, they are good. Oranges and guavas and all those things. You're free to eat all those things which are going to be, this is Satvik kind of food. Alright. So it has to be juicy, succulent. Succulent is very simple. Succulent means it should have something in it. I'm sure you know what a succulent means. It should not be, very thin and weary kind of stuff. No. It has to be fresh, succulent, substantial. See, people, what they do is they eat food. Oh, I will eat only little bit, or they will eat too much. Both this is wrong. You have to eat just enough, right? So don't stuff yourself and don't, keep yourself hungry. This is the important thing. Naturally agreeable. Naturally agreeable means it should be agreeable to your nature. Now, there are certain fruits, vegetables which can be grown in certain places. Is it necessary to import fruits from the other end of the world to have them? Or vegetables or stuff like that? I don't think it is necessary. See, let us say, for example, you are staying in the Himalayas or you are somewhere in Mongolia or those kind of places. What milk will you have? You can't think of having a cow milk, or any other. No. Yak milk. Yak. You know those animals that are there? Huh? So yak milk is the best. And if you are living in a very cold place, they make cheese out of it. And in the cold season, they use the cheese for making tea also. So, depends on where you are. So, like I said, it is dependent entirely on where and how you are. In recent times, there are lots of things which I've seen people do. And they follow rigorous health routines, and food habits. Think about it. You are 50 years old. You are used to a certain method of eating, sleeping, drinking, and that is your innate nature. See, don't forget the word innate nature. And suddenly, there is the newfangled thing which comes about. General Motors Health, GM Health. I don't know. I saw people eating one day, whole day they eat banana, whole day they drank milk or something like that. And I was wondering, what is this idiot doing? Is this what he has been doing all his life? Then why is he doing this kind of a stupidity? If you have lived a life where your eating habits are there, follow them because that is your innate nature. Just because some idiot somewhere has told you, oh, this is a study we did. What nonsense are you all talking? I wouldn't advise you. And don't even come to me with this kind of questions, Guruji, can I eat this kind of a food because it is advised like that in some health journal, or somebody is telling me like this? That is the stupidest thing you can ask me, because I will tell you, does it mean all these things? And does your innate nature allow you to eat and drink those things? No. If it is not, then why are you having it? All your life you have been eating nicely in moderation. Please remember, the word moderation is important. And yes, the doctor says you may have to cut down the sugars. Fine. No, but I will eat sugar freeze. What? When is it mentioned that you are supposed to eat, dump yourself with that? Cut down the sugar. Cut it down. See, you have to understand logic in this. It doesn't mean that you substitute another. Funnily, people have this habit. Oh, I have serotonin less, I have this less, I have that less. Popping pills. Tuk, 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 tuk. What are you talking about? In olden times, Jesus and all those people, do you think they resorted to all these things? No. Then why are you doing it? Artificially pumping yourself with stuff which is of no consequence. Doctor says so. Well, the doctor was not there 2000 years ago. And neither was he there 100 years ago. You see, 5,000 and 10,000 years ago, people lived for 125 years just like that. And they were hale and hearty. Where was your doctor there? So the understanding is, here Krishna is giving an understanding, your innate nature describes what you eat. So do that. And for Satvik food, these are the terms and conditions. Longevity, intelligence, vigor, health, happiness, cheerfulness. They should increase all these things. And they should be juicy, succulent, substantial, naturally agreeable. And they are liked by all men. Okay? Now tell me something. Is Karela juice liked by all men? No. Then what is it? Then why are you having it? No, it was advised. I have to have it. Okay, be my guest. When people ask me stupid questions, I tell them you are free to use your brains and your mind and do what you want. I will always tell a person, do what you want. I don't care. Because tomorrow you're going to land up with something really deadly and drastic in your life. And then go to more doctors, take more medicines, and your longevity down. Cheerfulness, you will always have a face like a castor oil, like that. I mean, look at that face. There is no smile on the face of people. They seem like, there's a whole load fallen on their head. Smiling is important. When you eat sattvic food, you will smile a lot. But if you eat all kinds of nonsensical stuff, there is no smile or anything. We will see that very shortly. So we have just completed verse 8. Now we will go to verse 9. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita Chapter 17 verse 9. Foods which are bitter, sour, salty, overhot, pungent, dry and burning, which causes suffering, grief and sickness, are said to be Rajasic in nature. This is very good. Are dear to the Rajasic. So the Rajasic people, what do they like? Extreme tastes. Oh, I love bitter. Okay? The sour taste. They will not want nice juicy mangoes. They want to eat sour mangoes. They will not want to eat. I have seen personally people, when I tell them, this is sweet and nice. No, Guruji, I like it slightly sour. This is not good. There is a lot of sugar in it. But sir, fruits and all are full of sugars only, isn't it? So during the time of Krishna or whoever, do you think the mangoes were not sweet? Or they had some other taste, is it? Now there were no mangoes, you will say. Who said that? So, the ones which have got extreme taste like sour, salty, over hot. The chili stuff which people eat. Oh my goodness. People love to eat chilies. Hot, 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 piping hot stuff. And if you go to places like Thailand and all, you will find scorpions and those kind of stuff they eat. Snakes. Now you have to decide, what are you? Are you human? Huh? Snakes are eaten by whom? All those eagles and all those, isn't it? So that person must be that, no? So according to their innate nature. So dependent on what nature you have, you will eat that. So what is the nature of a person who eats bats? So the people who eat bat and reptiles and all those kind of things, I think you understand the nature of that person. I don't have to even elaborate on that. Now those are extreme things. Pungent. If you eat pungent food, dry and burning, people love this kind of food. Some people I have seen would want such a hot tea that it burns them when it is going down. They will say, oh, this is cold. When it is hot also, it will be cold. So they will want it piping hot. Well, if you are staying in a cold country, then to drink hot stuff is good. But if you are staying in a hot country like India and having a hot tea with a lot of masala and stuff like that, doesn't it tell you that you are Rajasic in nature? That is what he says. And that causes suffering, grief and sickness. Whatever food that you eat which causes you this. When I hear people early in the morning puking away to glory, they don't seem to realize that it is the food that they eat which is causing them that problem. It is they are going through their suffering, they are going through their grief and their sickness also. Why do they have to puke every day? They should ask themselves this question. That is because there is a lot of acidity or stuff which is not agreeable to them which they are eating. So they have to cut it down. They have to bring it to a normal level and eat food which is healthy enough, which will give them longevity. But if you are going to eat food which is going to give you suffering constantly, then I don't think it is right. Alright? Now, some people, they have the habit of carrying their diseases with them. Many years they will carry the disease with them. What is the disease? Oh, I got severe back pain. I have this acidity problem. I have the blood pressure problem. I have this problem. I have that problem. Yes, okay. Medicines you should take. Why can you not control your diet? Something which will give you longevity, intelligence, that idiotic nature of yours which makes you eat even after having all kinds of diseases, you still want fried stuff? Hot fried stuff with so much of masala in it? Look at your tongue. You have to mind your tongue. You see, is it going to give you longevity, happiness at the end of the day? Or is your face all crinkled up and wrinkled and all, looks like as if you are come from the loo? Please understand, you should feel happy while eating your food, not after eating the food. You should not have suffering, grief and sickness. Then that is dear to Rajasic kind of people. Now we go to the next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita Chapter 17 verse 10. Food which is ill cooked or not fully ripe, insipid, putrid, stale, polluted, which is impure too, is dear to men of Tamasic disposition. So those who are following the Tamasic path, the guna, what is the food that they will eat? Ill cooked. The food which is not cooked, processed food, most of it is ill cooked only. I always used to wonder, how is it that these people eat that sushi and all those kind of, raw stuff? I don't understand. Then there are those people who will eat completely raw stuff. I still don't understand. Not fully ripe. They will eat kacha. Kacha means not ripe. Raw stuff. Insipid, which has no taste at all. Tasteless stuff. Like I was telling you about those tomatoes. Exactly like that. Putrid. It's not healthy to have those things which have gone bad. So the bad kind of food, you got to leave it. Stale and polluted. Stale food which has been lying in the fridge for years. I don't know how much long time people love to keep their food in the fridge. That food you got to avoid. And polluted. That too is impure. That is dear to Tamasic kind of people. So here Krishna has given us three kinds of food. Alright? Satvik, Rajasic and Tamasic. So three kinds of food. You decide for yourself what you want to be in. If you want to follow the path of Sattva, then you have to eat healthy, good food, which will make you live long, give you good health, happiness all the time. Rajasic food is all about pungent and this and that, all kinds of bitter, sour, salty, extreme tastes. And the one which is stale and all those bad stuff, that is Tamasic in nature. So now we go to the next one, which is called sacrifice. So we are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, verse 11. The sacrifice which is offered as ordained by the scriptural injunctions by men who expect no return and who believe that such sacrifices must be performed is Satvik in character. Now, who is a person who is Satvik in character? Somebody who has goodness of heart. Right? We had already discussed that. A good human being who prays, kind, compassionate, loving, caring, all those good qualities are there in that person. Now, he will do sacrifices. Now, when he is talking about sacrifices, when Shri Krishna is talking about sacrifice, need not be those kind of a yagyas or stuff like that they are doing. No, nothing like that. Today's day and age, in the modern age, where is the question of the sacrifice that we are talking about? In the scriptures, it is written what kind of sacrifice you could do. Now, sacrifice related to your own body itself. Like you can give something to someone, like a gift or something like that. Or you can perform some kind of a work. That can also be a sacrifice. Now, when you are doing this kind of things, never expect anything in return. Today morning itself, or maybe yesterday, I had written about gifts. You see, once you give a gift to someone, any person, you should never bother about what happens to that gift after that. You are giving it away. If the gift has gone to that other person, then the ownership has been transferred to that person because you have gifted it away. Right? Then whatever is the gift, that person is free to do whatever they feel like. You cannot dictate your terms that you have to give it to this one or you have to use it this way. No, there are terms and conditions do not come into play if it is gifted. So if I gift you some money maybe, or property, or if I gift you with a sari, or some such kind of a thing, maybe a dress, a very nice dress, and you may take that sari or the nice dress and give it to some cousin of yours or some poor man maybe. You cannot say, I gave you such an expensive sari and you have given it away to somebody else. You are not free to say those words. Because what happens to the gift is none of your business. You are giving it away, finished with it, then why are you still having the ownership of that item? You are not supposed to retain the ownership of that. And because you are not supposed to retain the ownership of that, why is it necessary to run after that item? So be very careful. The sacrifices that you perform, it should never have fruit as the end result. You see, he says, expect nothing in return. So if you do some sacrifice to some god or guru or whosoever concerned, don't say, God, I need this. That is why I have given you this. You can't come to the guru and say, Guruji, I have given you so much amount of money. I want to get a good job for myself. Are you stupid? That is not a good thing to do. A sacrifice has to be done with full-heartedness, good-heartedness. Then it is Satvik in nature. When you do this kind of sacrifices, which do not have any end result, which you are expecting to come about, oh, I have studied very hard, I will come first. No. Studying is must. Working is must. That is all sacrifice, by the way. If you are working for some company, you have to work hard. You cannot say that, oh, I worked hard like this and that is why I need it. No. So, what happens in this world is people have these very strange ideas. They say, my parents, they worked very, very hard. And because they worked very hard, we did not get, even the food to eat and all that. And that is the reason why I am doing this thing. Whatever that they are doing, it may be illegal or it may be something completely different, wrong. You cannot blame this on the destiny. If your parents have not enjoyed their life and they have struggled very hard, doesn't mean that you have to do something totally different and not work hard and try to earn money by some dubious means. No, you should not. I was listening to someone. He's a great person, no doubt about it. But he said, you know what? When my father died, we did not have any money, nobody was taking care of us, and my mother was working very, very hard. And because my mother was working so hard, we thought of changing our religion because this God doesn't give us anything. So there are different gods and there are different religions. So if that religion is giving you some nice benefits, so you will go and change your religion. Is that a good thing to do? Well, God is one only. What is it that you are doing? Just because those people are offering you some money and something, you are changing over something? I mean, that is not a good thing to do. That just shows your character. That just shows what kind of a weak person you are. A Satvik person will perform all sacrifices and will not be bothered about the results. Remember this. So we go to the next one. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita Chapter 17 verse 12. The sacrifice, however, which is offered for the sake of mere show or even with an eye on the fruit, know it to be Rajasic, Arjuna. So Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna, you know what? if you are doing sacrifice, if you are doing some kind of a puja, part or whatever you are doing, or you are doing your studies for the sake of telling the world, see how great I am. If you have your eyes set on the results, and if you are thinking that I have to come first in the university, I have to do this, and that is why I am studying. I am doing this, I'm wearing these dresses so that I can be the first person over there, I can get the good job. Yes, if this is what you are hoping for and this is what you are actually trying to do, and that kind of a sacrifice which your eyes are exactly on the end result, then you are having a Rajasic kind of a sacrifice you are doing. Those who are on the path of Rajas, we have already decided, isn't it? Krishna has already told you. All the Rajasic people, what are they going to be born? They will be reborn again and again and again and again and again. At that time, you can keep on thinking, oh, I was focusing on getting this job. I was focusing on getting this much amount of money. I did this because I wanted this. And you do the prayers, you go to the temple, you go and give a lot of gifts over there, and you offer something as bribery to people and all those kind of things. For what purpose? So that there is an end result over there. And what is the end result? I need some benefit. If you do something which is offered for the sake of mere show, with the eye on the fruit, please know it is Rajasic in nature. Got it? So now we will do the last one, which is called Tamasic. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita Chapter 17 verse 13. A sacrifice which is not in conformity to scriptural injunctions, in which no food is offered, no sacrificial fees are paid, which is without sacred chants or hymns and devoid of faith, is said to be Tamasic. Now in today's day and age, we don't do much kind of puja, because especially today's last 1.5 years, you are confined in your house. What puja are you going to do? I don't know. You are just confined in your house. You can't move out also. There is no travel allowed. There is quarantine and so many things are there because of this coronavirus. So what are you going to do? Nothing. Krishna is saying about those people who are tamasic in nature. What is this tamasic sacrifice? A tamasic sacrifice is that kind of a sacrifice which is not done as per the Vedas and the Shastras. It is done as per the whims and the fancies of that person. The person says, okay, I don't want to pay you any money because you have not done it properly. Now all this I am going to apply to your other stuff also. Okay, so just wait. So you are doing some puja part or something like that, and you are now not willing to offer that person also some money. That is not good. Where you are not paying the sacrificial fees. That which is not, there is no sacred chants or hymns. If you are not going to do any sacred chants or hymns, then that is not a good thing. And devoid of faith. There is no faith in the person or thing, whatever you are doing. That is kind of a tamasic sacrifice. Now, why is it important to do sacrifice in the proper manner? It has to be sattvic in nature. You cannot have something which is called tamasic. Tamasic things. Now let us come to material worldly stuff. Now, you go for examination. You know what the answers are going to be because you have paid money to get the examination paper. You copy it. And you are not doing your duty. You are not studying at all. Is it as per the religious injunctions, as per the laws? No. Have you paid your dues for it? No. If you are getting anything without paying any dues, it is wrong. Any kind of sacrifice that is done without offering dakshana, this is extremely important. You have to offer dakshana, which means the proper rituals have to be performed with prayers, right? So in the material world, whatever that you do, you have to offer fees to even your teacher. In your studies, you have to offer fees to the teacher. You cannot take free anything in this world. Don't take anything free. It has to be offered. And when you offer, what else you offer? He says that which goes with sacred hymns and chants, which means that which is required for that activity. What is required for the activity? Now, in case of prayer, it is sacred hymns and chants. In examination, it is your studies. When you do your revisions, when you are doing some work, you have to see to it that you have done all your background checks and everything is in place. So you are working for a company, you just cannot go to the company and say, oh, I don't understand. No, you have to do your homework. You have to see to it that you understand the job that you are given. Everything has to be known by you. You cannot go and say and blame the company, I don't know how it is done. Then why are you taking the salary? For what reason are you taking the salary? Then you are from the Tamasic guna. So everything has to be done in a very religious manner. The prayers, do your material worldly stuff, it has to be done properly. If you don't do it, then it is devoid of faith. And then again, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. If you can't say those words, you have to put in your efforts, you have to do what is necessary, you have to pay the fees, everything has to be done in a religious manner. And on top of it, you should always have hope that things will work out well. We are not focused on the result, but naturally, when I am fighting a war, am I not fighting for winning? Yes, but it is not about winning. I have to fight very hard for what I do. In the same manner, if I have to study, I have to study very hard and I have to write my paper properly. If I'm working for a company, I have to work really hard. If I'm working on a relationship with my wife, children, or whoever concerned, I have to really put in all the efforts in the relationship. It should not be one-sided. I have to pay my dues also, isn't it? So everything, all sacrifices in this world have to be done in the proper manner. It is only when you do that, then it is Satvik kind. If you don't do it, and if you are only focused about getting something out of it, something wrong, by doing all the wrong things, then it is Tamasic. So you decide which kind of sacrifice you are looking for, whether it is Satvik, Rajasic or Tamasic. In the same way, we have done about food. The food which is going to give you longevity, happiness, goodness, and all that is right stuff in this world is sattvic food. The one which is pungent, bad to taste, and so on and so forth, that one is Rajasic. And putrid and stale food and all that, that is Tamasic food. So you have to eat food which is good. So sacrifice and food are the two topics we have covered today. Tomorrow morning, remember, tomorrow is Saturday. So we will be doing it in the morning. So morning, Saturdays and Sundays. We will be continuing from where we have left. That is penance and various other things. Alright? So I'll see you all tomorrow morning at 6:30. Take care. Have a great evening. Bye.